How do you decide when a loved one living with Alzheimer's should stop driving? And when you get to that point, how do you have that difficult conversation? Hi, my name is Brian Knust, and I'm with Collaborative Home Care. In this video, I wanted to address a topic that a lot of our clients ask about: driving and Alzheimer's. When is the right time to take away the keys? So, to start at a high level, Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain disorder that slowly breaks down and destroys memory and thinking skills, as well as functional abilities. And over time, those living with the disease have trouble making decisions, reacting quickly, following directions, remembering familiar places, and sometimes interpreting the things they see. Now, if you think about it, all those five areas, all of them are pretty important when driving a car. So hopefully it's easy to see that a driver with a diminished capacity in any one of these areas is putting themselves and others at risk. So how should we handle this? For this video, I wanted to focus on two areas. First, when should someone with Alzheimer's stop driving? What are those signs that you should look for? And second, and much more difficult, is how do you have that conversation with a loved one? So let's start with talking about signs that indicate someone living with the disease should not be driving anymore. Typically, you'll likely notice things or something may happen that starts to give you pause. For example, your mom has a number of close calls on the road, or your dad can't find his way home from the grocery store that he's gone to every week for the last 40 years. Some other things you may see: failing to observe traffic signs, delayed responses to unexpected situation. Dad's driving and he starts straying into the opposing lane. He's becoming agitated. He's confusing the brake and the gas pedals. When you see these things happening, especially if you see multiple errors, it's a strong indication that something is wrong and your loved one is not safe on the road. So now that we know they shouldn't be driving, how do we have that conversation? Because it's very likely you're seeing this deterioration early on in the progression of the disease. It's also very likely that your loved one is still very capable in other areas of their life. And what I see a lot in our clients who are at that early stage is they don't think anything is wrong with themselves. And they'll argue with you to the moon and back about how they're still able to drive and you're not taking away my keys. But it's such a critical safety concern that it's a fight we need to have, and it's a conversation we need to have. Now, on the plus side, it can be much easier to have this conversation sooner rather than later when your loved one has a better chance of understanding your concerns. They can rationalize a little bit more. So when the time is right, here are a couple of suggestions that may help. Do a little preparation based on data, right? For example, be able to say, Dad, do you realize you had 3 accidents in the last month? Or, Mom, this is the second time you've gotten lost while driving and I had to go out to get you. Also, consider getting support from others. Get the whole family involved. As I mentioned earlier, reach out to a trusted advisor, a doctor, your lawyer. Sometimes their word carries more weight than a family member. Consider having a loved one take a DMV test. I also mentioned that earlier. But when you do have this conversation, empathy is so important. As this conversation, think about it from their point of view. Their car, their access to driving is a central component of their independence. Said in the wrong tone, it's easy to imagine how this can be viewed as an attack on their ability to do what they want, when they want. So as we wrap up, here are 5 tips on navigating this conversation. 1, honesty is always a good place to start. Be honest about your concerns for their safety. 2, have a plan or discuss ways to gradually reduce the need for driving over time. For example, start by eliminating highway driving, lean on family and friends to provide rides, use delivery services for groceries. 3, if you do receive pushback, it might be helpful to get a primary care doctor involved or arrange for that driving evaluation I mentioned. 4, be careful with suggesting public transportation. If your loved one has trouble navigating or difficulty with memory, it's easy for them to get lost in public. And 5, and I guess this is a tip of last resort, if there's no convincing your loved one, you can try hiding the keys or disabling the car so that it won't start. These are 2 tried and true methods that a lot of families have relied on. I hope you found this video helpful. This topic is definitely a challenging one to navigate. If you'd like to learn more about how we work with our clients living with Alzheimer's, please visit collaborativehomecare.com.